direi un caffè americano sulla tazza questa rossa. È un beverone. Però sembra vero, eh.
Sì?
Eh sì, eh. Senza zucchero te lo lascio?
Sei matto?
Ci vuoi un po' di zucchero?
Sì.
Beh, sembra molto interessante questa macchinetta. Mo sentiamo, questo in realtà è il secondo caffè, lo provi direttamente con l'americano, però... Tieni, il tuo American Coffee. Scotta.
Ammazza.
Qua. Mettili più qua. Scorri più qua.
Adesso.
really good-looking stream or recording is meaningless if the audio sucks. In this episode, we'll cover how to best set up OBS Studio's mixer to balance your various sources and produce a high-quality recording or live stream and be a mixer master. Any high-tier live production needs a variety of scenes to show and quick, precise switching between them. The Elgato Stream Deck gives you 15 keys with customizable LCD screens behind each one. They can execute macros, application launchers, and do scene switching and source muting for OBS, and you can nest folders for more actions and unlimited power! Grab yours today via the link in the video description. I'm Vox here to make tech easier and more fun, and welcome back to my OBS Studio tutorial course. I have many more videos on the software in the playlist linked in the description. Check that out if you have any questions, and check the introduction video to see how this course works. Whenever I help users with their OBS streaming setups, one of the biggest things that wouldn't be set up right is the mixer. You look at it, there are green bars bouncing around, it's working, right? For a great live streaming experience, or even a recording that just isn't trashed, learning and utilizing the mixer in OBS Studio is super important. Let's start with the basics of how it works. The mixer panel itself contains audio bars for the different audio sources in a given scene. This does include the microphone and desktop audio devices selected in your audio settings, as well as any specific sources in a scene that also provide audio. For example, if you add a capture card for capturing console gameplay to a scene, a volume bar for that capture card's audio input will also show up. Audio sources are listed by the name of the source, either the kind of source added, or desktop audio device, desktop audio device 2, mix/aux, or mic/aux, etc. The green bar below the audio source name indicates the current level or volume that the audio is at. You want it to be somewhere close to 75% of the way towards the right. If it stays all the way towards the right, you'll be clipping or peaking, and your audio will be very overwhelming or distorted. Too far to the left, and it will be hard to hear you. You can use the blue slider to adjust the volume of a source. You'll want to do this to lower the level of game sound or background music so that it doesn't overpower your voice. Where your sliders should be will vary based on do a test recording. Every time you change, you can mute out the webcam. You can add noise suppression or a noise which will generally apply to your microphone. You can add more gain if your microphone is just... If you click the gear icon next to a specific audio source, you can click Filters and add one of the available audio filters to it. You want the webcam microphone echoing around if you have a good mic set up, so you can mute out the webcam audio and not have to worry about it. If you click the gear icon next to a specific audio source, you can click Filters and add one if the microphone is just way too quiet from your microphone. This can mic it. You can also add a compressor to help your mic sound better and more even. Lastly, you can also add a VST plugin, part of the mixer that's easy to miss. Click the gear icon next to separate the sources to different audio tracks, as we covered in a previous video. If you want your sources to record separately, you need to make sure only one source is checked. Audio monitoring. This lets you create an audio loopback output, just loops it out. Uncheck the audio track mapping so manually to sync it with something. You can do that here, as well as 2i2. By checking the downmix box, it will make it easier to get lonely. Also fix any potential issues that may pop up. The OBS Studio tutorial course has been helpful for you. Come follow me on Twitch and say hi in chat. More videos like this and a full master class are linked in the playlist. Learning the ins and outs of OBS Studio. Their dual capsule microphone attaches easily and securely to your existing headphones. And I'm Vox, and this is some of the rest of my OBS. Don't know what the numbers mean. Let's summarize. Resolution refers to the dimensions in pixels of your video feed. This is usually 1920 by 1080 or 1280 by 720, but if you have monitors of different aspect ratios or sizes, your resolution could be different. On newer Windows versions, you can right-click your desktop and choose Display Settings or Screen Resolution to find your monitor's resolution. Alternatively, you can create a display capture scene in OBS, and when you choose the monitor, it will tell you the resolution or an input resolution of an external capture card. if you are recording from a console or external video device. Change the scaled resolution setting to be the same as your base resolution, as we will scale for streaming in the output settings later. Choosing frame rate is fairly straightforward, either 30 FPS or 60 FPS. You can choose 25 FPS instead of 30 for better performance if your computer is struggling to stream, but for a recording, this would not look very good. FPS looks a lot smoother for most games and is often preferred by viewers, but it takes a more powerful PC to stream. Next, go over to the Output Settings tab. Here, we will adjust your bit rates for where it says Output Mode, and change it from Simple to Advanced. Simple mode may look easier to manage, but those settings don't always work the best, and if you set your base resolution to 1080p, you want to check Rescale Output for streaming settings and choose 1280 by 720 or 854 by 480. The lower resolution you choose, the better your video can look for lower bit rates. Think of quality like filling a bowl with water. The width of your bowl is your resolution. The height of the water is your image quality per your bit rate. The smaller a bowl you put your water into, I stream at 1280 by 720. For rate control, choose CBR. This is a requirement for Twitch. YouTube that no matter how much action is happening on screen will lower the bitrate to match. This might seem like a good idea, but on Twitch it can cause issues for some viewers to keep having to reload the stream. Make sure keyframe interval is set to 2 seconds. This is a requirement of both Twitch and YouTube and most platforms. I recommend setting the CPU usage preset to faster. This setting will improve image quality, but let's go back up to your bitrate. Twitch has recently updated their broadcast requirements to allow streamers to stream up to a full 6 megabits per second. However, not all viewers can view such a high bitrate. There's a lot of controversy about claims that not everyone can watch high bitrate streams. I recommend setting the bitrate to around 2000 or 2500. This is generally viewable by everyone. If you have transcoding for your stream, the option to change from source quality to higher internet speeds. Not all streamers get transcoding. Transcoding is guaranteed for partners, but only allocated to non-partner streamers based on the availability of Twitch servers, with a priority placed on affiliates. It's also worth a bitrate of 5750, as I regularly have transcoding enabled on Twitch. If you're streaming to YouTube, you can push virtually as high of a bitrate as your connection will allow. Obviously, you need to keep your internet upload speed in mind. Go to openspeedtest.com or speedtest.net and run a speed test to find out your connection's upload speeds. Keep in mind that this is the available upload speed for your entire home, so you cannot push the full upload speed of a connection for a stream. Generally, you want your stream bitrate to be less than 70 to your router, and that nothing else on your network is doing any serious downloading or uploading while you stream. Click the Audio tab. Twitch supports a max audio bitrate of 160. Set your streaming audio track, typically track 1 and assigned in whatever you like. I have my main mix track for streaming set to 160 and the other tracks for select your recording destination, preferably a secondary hard drive or SSD inside your computer, though the normal C drive is okay. For recording format, choose MKV. This will work the same as MP4 recording, but prevent the file from getting corrupted if something goes wrong during the stream. You can convert it to MP4 with OBS later by going to File and Remux Recordings. This also keeps multiple audio tracks intact for editing. If you just want to record the exact copy of things, want to record a higher quality copy, however, proceed with the video. Most people will want to leave the encoder alone. X264 is the default, and most 64 to either NVENC video encoder on your graphics card to allow you to record a full quality recording without using up system resources. It's really neat. CBR with a low bitrate, and it should go much better. I use the NVIDIA encoder, recorded to a bitrate of and provides a balance of high quality, dedicated SSD. Absolutely, make sure you do recording tests and figure out what works for you. Streaming settings hopefully made a little bit easier. Again, if you're confused about it, OBS tutorial course has been helpful for you. If it has, this year we've gotten more 4K capable. During the creation of this educational course, the OBS team, without having to learn the software in and out. Elgato Cam Link takes your mirrorless DSLR, GoPro, or camcorder and turns it into a higher quality face cam than any webcam could ever provide, without the hassle and headache of normal USB webcam drivers or their terrible settings configuration. Get an uncompressed, low-latency 1080p 60 signal from your camera straight to your stream with this little device right. I'm Vox here to make tech easier and more. List in the description below. If you have Auto Configuration Wizard, click the Tools menu at the top and select it. Let's walk through the different scenarios provided. Please keep in mind that at the time of recording, this tool is currently in beta and may receive updates over time.
Buono! Non è male.
Poi è il primo, quindi vedrai che può solo migliorare. Adesso ho letto tutte le informazioni. Guarda, ti faccio vedere questa come si fa. Ma tanto penso che questa operazione la faremo una volta a settimana, non di più, quindi bisogna trovare un contenitore per le capsule. Guarda.
Please keep in mind that at the time of recording, this tool is currently in beta and may receive updates over time, but the same general principles will still apply. First, you have the choice for optimizing for recording only or optimizing for streaming with the ability to record. Let's walk through both, starting with streaming. This first option is for if you planned on streaming to Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, Beam, and so on, but might also want to record a local copy of your Note that this doesn't necessarily mean the resolution. Available in your system, it just won't use it. Click Next. If you left the box about performing a bandwidth estimation test checked in the last screen, the tool will now ping local servers to choose the best for your streaming platform. Give this a few minutes, rate, and so on to use for your streaming experience. You can review these changes when it's done and hit Apply Settings to use the new settings within your profile. And that's it for streaming. Run some test streams and make sure that all is working, and you should be good to go. If you do want to record your stream VODs, I do recommend making a couple of quick changes. Click Settings and go to Output. Here, I recommend changing recording format to MKV. You can use MP4, it's the most compatible format, but it's prone to corruption. If you use MKV, the files will stay intact and not get corrupted if your session crashes, but you still get to use multiple audio tracks. The default selected FLV cannot record multiple audio tracks. Then, once you've finished recording, you can go to File, Remux Recording, and convert that MKV back to an MP4 for editing if needed. I have a separate video on this process if you need it. I also recommend changing the recording path to a secondary hard drive on your system. I have a couple videos dedicated to why you should do this and the choices involved, which you can check out in the description below as well. Next, let's run through the configuration wizard for recording. You can only do this once. A second time will replace your original settings. So if you want different settings for recording one day and streaming another, you need to use multiple profiles. Go to Profile, New, and give it a name if you want to make a separate recording profile. I have a full video on profiles and their uses and stuff down there below as well. This is for higher quality recordings, whereas the streaming profile just records an exact copy of I will not be streaming, and click Next. For video settings, you have the same options as before. You get to choose your resolution and frame rate. Do note that this doesn't necessarily mean the resolution that you're recording to, but more what resolution your game's at. Typically 60 and so on. You need to choose whether you want the smoothest possible video or the most detailed and high resolution video. You might want to choose the either 60 or 60 FPS. Up to
Posso
you.
fare lo streaming anche
The
dal
tool will
computer
now
mio.
run a system test to determine the best recording settings for you. And go to Output. Here I recommend
No, questo ti fa peggio che lasciarlo stare, tu lo sai.
changing recording format to MKV. You
Non
can use
funziona.
MP4. It is the most compatible format, but it is prone to corruption. If you use
Vuol
MKV,
dire non funziona.
the files will stay intact regardless of computer or software crashes and not get corrupted, if that happens. But if you still get to use multiple audio tracks here, whereas the default selected FLV file cannot record multiple audio tracks. Then, once you've finished recording, you can go to File, Remux Recordings, and switch it back to an MP4 with all the audio tracks intact and not have to worry about it. It's kind of nice. I also recommend changing the recording path to a secondary drive in your system. My OBS Studio tutorial course, and
Non
I'm
capisco
Vox.
come si fa la diretta con un mixer. Perché lì loro ce l'hanno un mixer. Da qui però non si capisce. Cioè di cosa collegamento la sorgente mixer. Cioè la trasmissione capita, ma è l'output. Registrazione va bene.
Senti come urlano questi, adesso si sente.
Eccolo, qua ci dovrebbe essere il dispositivo. Eccolo.
Ma ti rendi conto questa tutti i giorni che cosa può essere? Che cosa può essere? Questo ti sfonda la psiche, porca troia.
Mm. Perfetto, ho trovato. Niente, adesso io